All right, folks. Are you serious? I feel like glowing and flowing and glowing. And I mean, and if you just understand the joy that uh, that C60 EVO brings, okay, and the people who can help us understand why you can glow is Patty and Chris. Patty, Chris, great to have both of you guys today.
Thank you.
Pastor Paul, so good to be here.
Oh, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I mean, let's be honest. I got the leaves back there in the background. Everybody's glowing, but what really feels good, and I was telling my wife this, it feels good to get up in the morning and not have the aches and pains in the joints. Maybe that's why I'm glowing. That's why I'm feeling, because I don't have that. Is this helping me? Is that what's happening here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we can't make any particular claims, right? And we'll go ahead and start with the FDA disclaimer, which is that the FDA has not evaluated our products. It's not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. We have been, we believe that we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell in your body. If you do that, reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, then you get head-to-toe testimonials. We have head-to-toe testimonials. Some of them we can share. Some of them we can't share. The one you just shared, we will say, yeah, we hear that from time to time. And by the way, people should not expect the anecdotes that we're sharing right now will happen to them. Just, dig into the research, listen to what we have to say.
I'm just asking a question myself. Me, Paul Begley, waking up. No, my joints feel better. I just want to ask, is that, I mean, is that possible?
It's absolutely possible, especially if you're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria.
Okay. Well, yeah. Patty, let's talk about it. I mean, first of all, if people go right there, I got the www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley and use, if you use that link, you can save an extra 10%. But how often do you use this, Patty? I mean, how many times a day? What do you take? What makes it work for you? Why are you glowing so much?
I got the big bottle, Paul.
Okay.
Awesome. My backstage pass to the lab. So I got the big 32-ounce bottle, and I can just, shoot it whenever I want. Mm-hmm. We had a sad thing this week, of course, with the loss of a beautiful soul, Charlie Kirk. So instead of my daily spoonful, I've been using a ladle.
There you go.
Like the big bottle,
big
spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. To keep my center and to stay positive and cheerful and grounded. When we see the number of people leaving the planet are the best people, like some of the really great people. And then we've got this whole trash can over here that no accountability. So each one of us has to really hold our own. Like we have to stay positive, grounded, centered, and pure-minded. And boy, is that a challenge in a world so toxic. So this product saves my brain daily. I get up in the morning and I crawl to the kitchen because I sleep so deep now, which is wonderful. And I get up and I pour this in my morning coffee, which is the MCT coconut oil. It's half as strong as the peer-reviewed everything olive oil. So I take a spoonful of the olive oil to kick myself into fast gear, and I do the MCT because it just gives me this solid cruise all day long. You call it a glow, I call it a cruise. I'm a few years older, so I've been cruising a little longer. But to find something that's noticeably helping your energy is really rare at any age, in any decade. And we find racers that are running at 30 and 35 and 40 years old are going, man, it's so easy now. I take this in advance and I don't hurt the next day. I have to say, I'm sure it's a coincidence that, when they take Evo, they don't hurt.
It has to be. It has to be.
Yeah, well, preventative is the key.
Amen.
And it prevents us from getting sick. I'll just speak personally. The immunity is really boosted with the C60 Evo, 125 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant in a peer-reviewed test. Whose product did they use? What lab? Oh, that would be ours. So our lab has supplied the products for pretty much every peer-reviewed test that we know of. And the reason they come to our lab is because Chris and Robert have been making it since 1991.
They're the experts.
They are. They are. I just got lucky because I had a couple of really awful incidents leaving the field of UFOs when everybody was dying in a short period of time.
Mm.
And I got wounded twice really badly. And I was gifted the Evo. And I was like, wait, what is this? And I'm still alive. So I give this product tremendous kudos. And I'm like, what do? I don't want to make UFO movies anymore. There's nobody left to film that's of interest to me because, now it's a bunch of actors that I don't find interesting at all. So the problem is my brain keeps growing no matter how old I get because I'm taking this product that, in my opinion, is mostly about brain function. That's what I think is leading the way. Great for the body, great for flexibility when you get up in the morning. But the main thing, in my opinion, is how clear the mind gets when people start taking this product.
No.
And I had offered it to the Congress and the Senate, I'll pay, like for years. I was like, come on, you guys, wake up, clear your brains, get rid of all I'm ignoring all your funding from Soros and Gates. I'm just ignoring all that. How about a free bottle of Evo and you change teams? Nobody called me. I was really surprised.
Well, now, so you talk about this clear-minded thinking. I feel like less fog. Chris, is there something about the mitochondria? How does that work? I mean, is it getting rid of the toxins out of my brain or my body or what?
Yeah, I mean, you're tapping into our most consistent testimonial, which is people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. It's why we actually did a sleep study, right? It's a pretty small scale sleep study. We're working on getting, kind of perfecting the process and working on getting people through that study. But it was a crossover study with 10 participants. We took survey data 10 days before they took the product, 10 days after taking the product, 10 days back on the product, and then 10 days without the product, with the product, without the product, with the product. That's the crossover aspect of the study. 100% of the participants reported benefits, improvements in sleeping in their sleep surveys when they were taking the product. So we did that because that's our most consistent testimonial. You're talking about focus. You're talking about kind of having that cloudy brain. And if you think about our BOSS theory, right, the buffering oxidative stress system, which we believe, we know from peer-reviewed published research that this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria. So we've got good reason to believe this BOSS theory is an antioxidant process that works in the mitochondria. Your brain cells and your neurons have 2 million mitochondria in each cell. So if you're so every cell in your body has between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million mitochondria per cell. That's how much energy our nervous system uses compared to our other systems.
Yeah.
And so, if you're reducing via that BOSS theory, buffering oxidative stress system, if you're reducing the oxidative stress in your mitochondria, and there's 2 million in your brain cells, then, we're just not surprised that our most consistent testimonial is people take it in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night.
So you're getting past the blood-brain barrier?
So there is some, I'm a scientist. There is some debate there still. I don't think that we have this consistent testimonial of focus and energy during the day. Really, that's mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night without it crossing the blood-brain barrier. So I fall on the kind of group of scientists who are like, this is crossing the blood-brain barrier.
Okay. So, Patty, obviously you've been feeling great, looking great, and you've got energy to burn. And so, again, what should the folks out there watching right now, the audience right now, how do they get introduced into this? Where should they start first, I guess, if you was to look at the products, and where do you start if you haven't ever taken any of it?
Well, I would start by looking for the research. Like, where did the research come from and who is doing it? And when you come up with these amazing peer-reviewed tests, like the 2012 test for toxicity of this miracle molecule, they tested it on Wistar rats, and it came from our lab. So it wasn't just any C60 Evo, it was our C60 Evo in a cleaner form than most other labs around the world were able to deliver. So not only was it not toxic, but these lab rats lived 90% longer than the control group, which is the longest longevity results in history on lab animals. But most important to me is they died without any tumors. Now, we're not saying it's, the big C, but we're saying, what a coincidence. These rats that always die with a certain level of tumor growth, the longer they lived longer than they ever have before, and they had no tumors. So we've got this miracle molecule that just might be more than we're even saying, because we're not allowed. But I will say, when it comes to flexibility and bones and joints and structure issues, I personally stretched out my bone-on-bone hips from one of the injuries of leaving UFOlogy. I went 5 years before I needed to replace my hips last year. And I replaced 2 hips at 70 years old and flew through the recovery.
That's incredible.
It was incredible. Like, I was dreading it for, like, I'm not going to do it. I can still walk. And all of a sudden I couldn't walk. And it was like, oh, crap. So every doctor I went to, I brought my x-rays, and my family member drove me. So she was my witness. And when we left the second one, he actually went out of the room after seeing my x-rays, came back with 2 other doctors and somebody with a stenographer, like, writing everything. And they're all looking at me like I was some specimen in a petri dish.
Right.
And I was like, why are 3 of you here? I'm interviewing this doctor, who I'm definitely not gonna, he had terrible bedside manner. But the 3 of them are staring at me, and I said, what is this? And he said, well, we've just never seen anyone like you. And I'm like, oh my God, they know about my movies. No. Okay. They know I'm a granny that had a big ass Harley. No, it's not that. Okay. Why? And they said, well, you're clearly not mentally ill. And I'm like, your point? And Chris,
Chris is like,
we're not making fun of people that have issues, clearly. But I looked at him like, why would you even say that? And they said, well, you're bone on bone for 2 years. Like, you ground down one side. That's just not humanly normal. And I said, well, I have this incredible product in my purse. I'd love to give you a sample. Oh, no. We're doctors. We cut open. We don't, fix things.
Right.
So I was like, no, seriously, that's how. And so once I realized, then the second one was, they're staring at me, and they said, and you're not a drug addict. And I'm like, oh, good one. No, definitely not a drug addict. Barely drink liquor. Why would you say that? And they said, how did you get through this level of pain? And I'm looking around like, what level? I'm not normal. Remember?
Wow.
Are you serious?
That's it.
I should have yelled it then. Are you serious?
That is the Are You Serious?
I'm so mentally sound because of this dang product.
There you
I
go.
can't get my brain to go sleepy. So I'm on from morning till night. I'm like, I don't miss anything. I remember like crazy. So don't tell me stupid things, because I will remember.
There you go.
But these doctors, I mean, by the time they finish, interrogating me, I was like, well, I certainly passed that one. I said, let me just see what a hip replacement piece looks like. And they showed me, and I felt my daughter grab my back like, oh my God, the thing is, anyway, I got 2 of those in me. And it was the third doctor that was a complete hero. He actually rescued somebody, and he was on the news, and he's young and handsome. And I thought, oh, good, I won't mind, But he had a history of, his father was a surgeon. His grandfather was a surgeon of hips and knees. So I know that he had it in his blood. And he was the greatest doctor. And 5 days after the first surgery, I wasn't on their pain meds because I didn't really need it. I called their office and I said, how long does this numbing last? And they said, excuse me? And I said, the numbing from the surgery. I'm still not in pain, and I'm like 3 days out. 5
Wow.
days out. And they said 2 hours, 2 hours after surgery. And I said, am I like brain dead down there? I can't feel, I don't hurt. And they said, well, every once in a while we hear that. 9 weeks later, I was so good that I got my second hip done. And days after that, I called the doctor and I said, okay, I'm serious. I still have no pain. And I know you did all these things because I can see stitches and a huge
Something's happening here. Right.
Yeah, and I don't hurt anymore, which is so great. But how could I not have pain? I don't mean to say it's going to work for anybody else, but I flew through 2 hip replacements last year at 70-ish years old. And my recovery was so incredible that after the first surgery, I called Chris after 5 days and I said, I'm going to do the show with you today. And he thought I was kidding.
Yeah. Well, look at this. Look at this. Here's a testimony.
Nobody knew.
Look at this, Patty. It's sort of like what you're saying. There's a lady right now, because we're live as we're doing this. There's a lady, Linda Gardner, says, look, I have started taking this 3 days ago. I can see a difference in hip and back pain. I have a damaged right side frontal lobe. I'm hoping that it will help me with sleeping and focusing. Chris, I mean, this is just a testimony. This is just someone just showed up. I mean, we're not making that up. What do you think?
Linda.
Well, we're certainly not making a claim about their hip and back pain, right? This is just something that's happened. I always like to say this: if it's an anecdote, assume it won't happen to you. You know, dig into the research. I like when you asked Patty, where does somebody start? Honestly, I was thinking, well, you should tell them about the olive oil, and she was like, no, go to the research. Like where you should start with this is dig into the research. That's what we're a research organization. That's what we're founded in. That's where people should start. So go do the research. And then she's talking about hoping to have an impact on focus and sleep. I mean, that is our most consistent test. I literally have testimonials of people talking about, we'll call it impaired sleep, like challenged sleep, to the kind of sleep where they were going to practitioners, they were diving in with different providers and never having resolution. I think this was at least a 2-year process. And in her testimonial video, she was moved to tears almost twice, right? So you could tell when, right? And she was like, first off, nobody else solved this. I can't believe your formula solved it. And then second, she shared that her husband is getting to know her again, right? Because if you're not sleeping, then you're not the same person. Here you are getting that sleep. So now you're that fresh, vibrant person that you remember being, and your husband gets to see that. Like we're so lucky that we get to, I'm so lucky. I get to be this geeky, sciencey guy. I get to talk about all this stuff. And then I reap the benefit of all these amazing testimonials that come in.
You said go to the research. I have actually a copy of the original 212 study on C60. And here's one of the things it did say, folks. C60 has shown to be a potent antioxidant, neutralizing free radicals that cause cellular damage and are linked to the aging process. That's just the report. So if it's an antioxidant, talk to me a little bit, because with all the food we eat, with all the poison that's in the food, I mean, let's face it. I mean, that's what I think that's one of the things Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to do. At least he's fighting everybody he can up on the Hill. But until we can get this stuff out of the food, we need a way to get the toxins out of us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're going to say for sure this will do it, but I'm just reading the study. That's what the study says. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, well, very comfortable talking about us as an antioxidant. As Patty mentioned, there's an ad hoc study, shows us to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. Peer-reviewed published research shows us to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. One of the benefits, one of the things, you're okay. If you're going to do a shot, I'm going to do a shot too.
Okay, and I'm going to do a shot.
Yeah. Here we go.
All this positivity. I mean, I just got to
Look
keep
at him. He's having a cocktail without us.
Sorry.
I would like to
wait. Just couldn't wait.
Cheers to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Let's take this in honor of our dear friend.
Absolutely.
Okay. I mean, really, and you can put this in, folks. You can put this in your coffee, especially the coconut. A lot of people like to do that. You can put it in a coffee. You can put it in your smoothie. I mean, whatever you're drinking in the morning to get started. It's just an easy way to do that. But if you're like me, you know, and like all of us, we don't care. We want to go straight to the source, right?
I'll share when I first started bringing this product to market. It wasn't part of my routine, and I could always, if I got to the latter part of the afternoon and I was craving a nap or craving a second or third, actually at the time I was drinking at least 2 cups of coffee a day, a third cup of coffee, then I knew that I could look back and I hadn't taken my product that morning. So my routine is, I do kind of a bulletproof coffee thing, which is a high quality coffee, some ghee, purified butter, then some MCT. I get rid of the ghee. I really don't want all those calories. And I personally don't like the taste of ghee in my coffee. So I'm using our MCT, right, with the ESS60 molecule,
Right.
while that's blending. And that's about 1.5 teaspoons of that product. And then I take about 1.5 teaspoons of the olive oil product straight in the morning. And when I'm consistent with that, there's just barely a day. I mean, if I'm back to back to back shows and they, you know, I don't happen to be doing shots on the shows, olive oil ESS60 shots, right? The appropriate shot, just for clarity.
Okay.
It takes a crazy busy day for me to need another shot. And that's just how I operate, right? Like focus and energy during the day and then better sleep that night.
Better sleep at night. So Patty, I mean, you went through the hip surgeries and replacements. Sleep, it's key. Chris keeps bringing it up. Sleep. Because most stuff like coffee, for some folks, coffee just jacks them up to the point then at night they can't sleep. This is such a different, it's like clarity, no fog, energy, focus, and then you can relax in the evening. Have you found that over a long period of time taking this? Have you still see that as the consistency?
Yes, no doubt about it. But I take it before noon as a habit. Right now, I didn't suggest a shot at the top of the show because it's 1:30 for me. A little bit late for me, but a lot of people can do it at night and they have no problem at all. I just personally, I try not to do coffee or C60 Evo after 12 noon. But as long as I do it in the morning, I cook all day right until bedtime. And there's no question when it's bedtime, I'm kind of like a tree that just goes, timber, and I'm down. But I don't ever think about getting to sleep. I go out like a light.
Wow.
And when Chris was saying shots, and then he clarified shots of C60 Evo, I want to say to the people that do shots of tequila late at night or vodka or whatever, people that drink heavily, we call it also a hangover helper because it does real well for if you go to bed all dizzy and you take a shot of it at night. That's the only time I would take a shot is if I drank heavily, which I could probably count on one hand my whole life drinking heavily. Of course, that's no memory, Patty. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm old enough. Maybe it's been 2 hands, but I don't drink enough to even be worth remembering. But people that do that late at night do really well. I more prefer to inspire people that are about to have a race or a triathlon.
I see. Yeah.
Go on a hike with their kids and they want to show up their kids and put them on their back halfway up the mountain. Take some Evo before you go, double up your dose, and you're going to be a powerhouse. Chris likes to talk about this racing gentleman that does 50-mile races or his
not running.
That is the appropriate reaction, but yes, running.
Wow.
The guy was doing a teaspoon and he was like, yeah, Chris, it's okay. But then just because he was an extreme runner, he did 3 teaspoons of this powerful one, the olive oil, which has 0.85 milligrams per milliliters of pure carbon 60, ESS 60. And the guy said, game changer. It was the difference between being a fun runner and a pro. Like the difference was all of a sudden he moved into a whole new category of his own availability, of his bodily functions being under his own control. And that's what Evo does. Clears the brain enough for the brain to say, okay, body, we're going to do this now. And I'm giving the brain a lot of credit because I drink so much of it. But it's funny. I was kind of hooked on the MCT forever because in the morning coffee, it's just so delightful. But Chris reminded me that we need to be upping the game and doing the strong stuff on the shows. And the day he did that, we had 3 shows. And it was really funny because I brought the spoon and we did it 3 times. And I'm not used to that. And you want to talk about big bad energy, big good energy. I was so wound up. I went to dinner with a friend and I was like, I just want to walk. I want to walk to dinner. I don't care how many miles it is. I just want to, it was really funny. So, a lot of people can do a lot more, but the stuff is so pure and so strong that really a tablespoon will get you there. A teaspoon will get most people
What
there.
about your dog and your cat? I mean, this is part of the glow, right? I mean, this is part, the coat is smoother. Talk to us because, obviously, our dogs, our pets, our cats, why not let them benefit as well? And what have you seen and why does it work for them as well as us?
Right. I think fundamentally it's because it works in the mitochondria, and the pets have mitochondria. And if you're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, it's good. Just real quick, I know Patty has some good testimonials. One of them, I just like this one. Gwen is one of our largest distributors here in the city of Houston. That's where our lab is based. And she originally ordered the product for her dog, noticed such a profound difference in her dog that she decided to start taking the product, right? There is no placebo effect with dogs, right? If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I wonder if there's a placebo effect, which is a legitimate thing, right? You should be thinking about that. The placebo effect applies to medications. It applies to statins. It applies to the food you eat. If you convince yourself that eating tomatoes is going to lower your heart rate, it'll actually do that. Like, that's how strong the placebo effect is. But there is zero placebo effect when it comes to pets, right? So she noticed this profound difference in her dog. She decided, okay, I'm going to start taking this product. And now she's one of our largest distributors in Houston. I'm going to share one other. There's a guy who owns a healthcare franchise. His name is Kyle, and he ended up, his son brought home 2 pugs. One of them was the runt of the litter, which he had taken to a vet, had, I think, water on the brain. And it was basically looked like it was dizzy all the time with its head shaking so bad that it could barely eat. He started giving that dog 3 doses. That maybe there's a magic 3 here. Anthony, the runner, takes 3 doses, and then this dog is taking 3 doses. And I think he sent a note to me in about 7 days, and he said, the dog is 80% better. The vet believes it's a miracle, and I will never not take your product.
Wow. The fact that the placebo effect, I forgot. A dog wouldn't know. So people can mind over matter. I understand we have the power of the brain ability to sometimes convince ourselves. Okay. That'll last for a little while. Okay. But a dog, a cat, they're not going to do that. So if you're seeing the results, it's flat out, no question about it. And of course, we know it too. If you've been taking it, folks, we have people watching right now. Some of you are already getting this product. And what you do is you can tell others. Okay. You can tell others. Some of the best way to get the word out is mouth to mouth or to references. But let me just say this. If you've never tried this, right there's the link below. Just click on that link below. Go to www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley. Click on that link below. It'll take you straight there. Look at the products. Read the testimonials. Feel the energy from off the page, and then begin to consider trying. I'm just saying, consider trying, and then it'll do the work. Okay. Patty, would you say that's pretty well the best way to go about that? Just consider trying.
Yeah. Well, you asked me initially where people should start. And I said the research. But part of the research for me, because I'm so visible and I'm a documentarian, so I want documents, I want evidence.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, look at the 3 of us and look at the skin and look at the energy. I look at the people selling products. And when people are sickly and they're, or they live in a filthy environment and they're selling health products, it's like, yeah, no, thank you. I remember President Trump said his dad told him, if you go to a restaurant and the door is dirty, the kitchen's probably dirty.
Turn around.
You know, you want to kind of read the room before you get in and try the products. I look at Chris for 75. I think he looks great.
Yeah, he looks tremendous for 75.
I'm kidding. He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
He's been doing this 34 years. Like, what were you, a puppy? Like a teeny little, you know, like he started real young. But he and Robert were very inspired because in college, their professor told them, if you can figure out how to make this, and it's not easy, it's worth more than gold per ounce. Now you say that to a couple of college guys that are looking at Lamborghinis in the restaurant, in the magazines, and they're going, I could do that. Yeah. So they got together. They actually manufactured a machine that burns C60 at the heat of the sun, and it's in our lab today, a version of it. So these aren't just kids that were playing, you know, with metal. They actually designed the whole industry, in my opinion. Nobody else has lasted this long. There were initially, when the Nobel Prize was given to 3 scientists in Houston in 1996 for this molecule, there were a few labs around, but Chris and Robert are the only ones that are still active today and growing, because we're selling products that are making a difference that people can see and feel. I mean, I look at your skin, and I've seen you a few times without your glasses, and you look better than when I met you a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for all anti-aging, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, look, you will feel better. You will, you'll be bright. You'll glow. Okay. You'll glow if you really, really, really get yourself healthy. And part of the way to get healthy is get rid of the toxins in the body. Be careful what you eat, but really, even when you do the best you can of what you eat, you still have to figure out ways to cleanse the blood, cleanse the cells. That's what I like about this, Chris, and I think you've talked about this quite a bit, is the cells. It's the cells that are being energized. They're being cleansed, but they're being energized too. It's kind of two-part. Yeah. And so, folks, it really, really will give it a chance. Okay. Give it a chance. Do the research, like Patty said, but give it a chance. Go right now. Click on the link below, www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley. You can save 10%. You might even get to save more. I don't know if you got an extra coupon in there or not. But go check it out, find out, and get started. And then you'll be leaving testimonies too. So, guys, any last words, Patty?
Yes, I want people to be very mindful when they go looking for C60 Evo. Don't be confused by other companies that might be selling industrial grade from Wuhan, China, carbon 60 like industrial. And we don't want to have people miss the ESS 60 difference. ESS 60 is elemental safe. Safe is the key word. Spheres with 60 carbon atoms. It's the only thing that we will sell for people and pets. We are the only lab in the world making the clean version that's not industrial grade, ESS 60. And that's what we deliver. 5 days a week, we ship all over the world. And our shipping people are not limited. We do dozen quantities nonstop. And a dozen will save you 25% off the price of the item. 25% if you get a dozen, then you can really share it with your friends and family, but use Paul's code and get another 10% off at checkout. We do recommend different kinds of sets, which is the dog lover, one for you, one for your dog. The one that we do the most is the starter set, which is the in and out. You take this on a spoon, you put this on your face, and amazing results. We also do it in capsules. With the facial serum, it's the inside and out. But when you order 2 or more items, any of our sets, it's 15% off, 20% for monthly subscriptions, which is the most of anything that we sell is monthly subscribes, and we don't obligate anybody to stay with it. You can send us an email, call on the phone. We won't even ask questions if you don't have reasons. We'll give you the 20% discount. But more than half of our sales every month are resubscribes because people don't usually quit. You know, at first you might say, oh, $100. That's so much. And then you look at 3 bottles of supplements that are over $100 together and you go, I don't know if those do anything. And I buy them constantly. I don't use any of my supplements anymore, except maybe a couple for bones. But I have saved so much money by getting on these products because they are, in my opinion, all inclusive.
Yeah.
I feel better from head to toe. My mind is like scary sharp. And my mom is 96 and she is going like the ever ready bunny. Like she's still reading big fat novels. I do shows every month with Alfred Lambermont Weber, who's 83. He's still writing big fat novels.
There you go.
At 83. So, yeah, it's really telling when you look at the testimonials. Those are real people, not paid people to lie, but real people.
Right.
And so when you go looking for the ESS 60, be really mindful. Don't get industrial grade because it's not so good for your body or your pets. You want to get the good stuff, which is ESS 60 from c60evo.com/Paul Begley. And you are going to rock like Paul, who's brightening his autumn mood every day.
I am absolutely, I take on all seasons and all comers, and then no matter what it is, I want to go at it with the joy in my life and in my heart. So Patty, Chris, thank you guys for taking time out again of your very busy schedule to being with us today. Appreciate it greatly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Paul.
Many blessings to all of you, and may you stay well, healthy, happy.
Amen. God bless all of you folks. Hope you've enjoyed another powerful testimonials here on Paul Begley's broadcast here, of course. And I'll be back with more in just a minute. Okay.